Hey everybody, today we've got a great hypothetical matchup. This time it's going to be Joe Biden for the Democrats up against Chris Christie for the Republicans. And this was suggested to me a long time ago in the comments. So let's get into this showdown. So I think we know enough of the background of both of these guys. Biden is in office. Generally his poll numbers are low. They could go up a little bit. And by election day, maybe somehow they go up significantly. But I'm generally going to assume they're not too great. And how about Chris Christie? Well, former two-term governor of the blue state of New Jersey, and he was a little bit of Trump before Trump. He's bold, blunt, brash, confrontational, and at one point he was very popular. He had a scandal. His popularity fell off a cliff. He first tried to run in 2016 and it didn't pan out. Since then, he's kind of taken on the role as an anti-Trump Republican. Now, I do think that will hurt him a little bit with the base. However, if Trump is out of the picture and he's not attacking Christie during the general election, then I think Christie would be able to reasonably recover from that image. Now, he's not going to completely recover, but I do think he would offset it enough in the suburbs and with some voters that were probably a little bit too put off by Trump. So as much as some people think he's completely derailed himself with the Trump base, you might disagree, but I generally think he would recover well enough. So let's go through the states. We'll talk a little bit more about it at the end. We're going to start in Alaska. That's going to be over 10, safe for Christie. Hawaii, safe for Biden. Now we've got the blue West Coast, Washington, Oregon, California. Nothing's going to change here. Maybe Christie does a little bit better than Trump, but they're going to be safe for Biden. Now, how about Nevada? I wasn't sure how to rate this state. Christie could lose Clark and Washoe counties, but still win the state. But I think Christie could get enough independence, and I do have him winning this state by a tilt margin. Idaho, Utah, safe for Christie. Now we've got Arizona, and it's drifted toward the Democrats, away from Trump-style Republicans. Christie, I think, would do 1 or 2 points better than Trump here, and that leads to it going leans for Christie. Montana, Wyoming, safe for Christie. Colorado, I think that'll dip down just under 10, likely for Biden. New Mexico, I think that would be about 5 to 5.5 points. That's also going to be likely for Biden. North and South Dakota, safe for Christie. Nebraska, at large, safe for Christie. The 2nd District, I think Christie is a better fit in this district than both Trump and Biden, so he's going to get it by a narrow tilt margin. Kansas and Oklahoma, safe for Christie. Texas is still going to be likely for Christie. I think considering the trends, the suburbs, and the turnout, I think Christie would win this at least by mid, maybe even high single digits. Up to Minnesota, I think that would narrow up a little bit, probably also 5 to 5.5 points. Christie is going to do a little bit better than Trump in the suburbs around the Twin Cities, but it's still going to be likely for Biden. Iowa is going to stay likely for Christie. Missouri, Arkansas, and Louisiana, those are red states, and they're going to stay safe for Christie. Now we go up to Wisconsin, and this is anyone's guess. Even if the Rust Belt turnout with blue-collar working-class voters is slightly reduced from the Trump base, again, I think Christie would offset that just a bit in the suburbs, and he's going to carry the state by a tilt margin. Illinois, probably low double digits, safe for Biden. Now we've got Michigan. This is another state where Trump gets the working class turnout. Some of those voters are not going to be into Chris Christie, that's true, but I think it would be super close. Biden's going to do better with the unions, and it could go either way, but I did go with a tilt for Biden. Indiana, safe for Christie. Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, safe for Christie. All the way down to Florida, I think they could at least go 5 points, likely for Christie. Georgia is going to be another state where the Atlanta suburbs come back a little bit to Chris Christie. Even if the margins in the deep red counties are a little bit reduced, Christie's going to get that by a lean margin. South Carolina, safe for Christie. North Carolina leans for Christie. Let's skip up to Ohio. That's going to be likely for Christie. West Virginia, safe for Christie. All the way to the corner, Maine at large. Probably about 5.5 to 6 points, likely for Biden. 1st District, safe for Biden. 2nd District, likely for Christie. Next state, New Hampshire. This is another one that could go either way. Christie going to be better here than Trump. It's a little bit bluer on a presidential level. Some of the Trump turnout is going to be reduced, so it's kind of a coin flip, but I went with a tilt for Biden. Vermont, New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, safe for Biden. How about Christie's home state of New Jersey? Well, again, his popularity did fall off a cliff here. I still think he would narrow the margin a few points. I would think he could get it down to maybe about 11. Maybe he does significantly better than I think, but I am going to put it at safe for Biden. Delaware, Maryland, and Washington, D.C. safe for Biden. Next state, Pennsylvania. This is going to be similar to Michigan. The Philadelphia suburbs, they're going to be a little bit more open to Christie, and I think the red counties are going to be close to what they were with Trump on the ballot, so it's tough to say, but I have it as a tilt for Biden. Last state, Virginia, this is going to be mid-single digits, likely for Biden. So the final total is Joe Biden 259, Chris Christie 279. Chris Christie wins it by 20 electoral votes. We've got several states at tilt margins, so those are completely up in the air. Now, as I said at the beginning, and you might disagree with this, but Chris Christie, having been known as an anti-Trump Republican, I think by the time a general election campaign got fully underway, and assuming Trump was more out of the picture, then I think it would mostly be water under the bridge. Christie would get back most of those Trump voters, and he would use his combative style to go head-to-head against Biden. And if Biden's popularity is still noticeably underwater, that's how I think Christie is able to win most of these states. He's going to lose a little bit of the Trump vote, but I think he's going to gain enough with independents, enough with swing voters, maybe even some voters completely unsatisfied with Biden. They might be willing to come over to Christie. And I don't think Christie is really in the category of someone like Liz Cheney. Her complete identity was anti-Trump, plus her personality was not really going to win anybody over, and she's pretty much just a Bush-era neoconservative. Now you might say Christie is pretty much the same thing. I do think he's a couple of steps away from Liz Cheney, and that's enough for him to find the sweet spot to win this election against a generally unpopular president. So if you think Christie is weak, you also got to consider how weak Biden is. And all the normal economic and cultural issues are on the table. Some of those are going to help Biden, some of those are going to help Christie, but Christie is much younger, he has a ton more energy, he at least presents himself as much more genuine and tells it like it is. I also think he's combative enough with the media where that's going to have enough appeal with the Trump voters, but also Christie's probably not going to go over the line into the insult territory, which would alienate more voters in the middle. But one last thing is it also depends on the national environment. If somehow Biden is at a 48-49% approval rating, then I think Nevada and Wisconsin are going to flip back. But if Biden is all the way down at 39-40%, then I think Christie could pick up Michigan, Pennsylvania, and New Hampshire. So as always, there's a lot of different factors here. You're going to emphasize different things you like about Biden or don't like about Christie or vice versa. You're going to pick certain issues and certain demographics you think are going to be ignited by these two candidates. It's all fair game what you think the outcome would be, but this is what I think would happen. Let me know in the comments. Do you mostly agree with this map, or do you disagree with one or two, maybe 10 or 12 of these states? Let me know down below. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.